Okay, I'm just gonna wait for everyone to get here, and I'm just posting, letting everyone know that we are live on YouTube. And I see people coming in here. Great, I love to see it. So I'm talking about networking in virtual environments. So if you're here and you have questions, go ahead and put your questions in, because I can start there. But this discussion started on Instagram Live, which I'm gonna have to finish it here. But yeah, I know. I don't know why it keeps on going out. Like when I go on live, it's like it's cool for a minute, and then I don't know, something is happening. So, but my YouTube works, so we'll just do this here. But so what I was discussing was basically, there's a lot of people who don't take advantage of networking on social media. So I really want to shed some light on that because specifically, this platform that I've built is a platform full of professionals. So you're either looking for a job, trying to grow your career, or you if you're on this page, chances are you have some type of job. So now your question is, I'm afraid of LinkedIn and making my personal info so public. I know that that's the only way of networking. Any suggestions of getting over that fear of using LinkedIn? So I'm going to tell you like this: your information is already public. If I have your name, I can search your name. And I can find out where you live. I can search court records on you. The Freedom of Information Act and so many other acts make a lot of your information public, anyways. Now, you do have the option of restricting or locking your profile. And you also have the option of just choosing what you choose to put on there. So, so that's my main thing on it. You don't have to put your address on there. You don't have to put your phone number on there. In fact, what you can do is you can create a Google Voice number, and you can publish that phone number, and you can create a professional email address that you only use for networking and relationship building on social platforms, and that can just be the email address that you use, and you don't have to attach it to any of your personal information. But you do have to get active. The thing about social media, and let's just talk about Facebook. Facebook is essentially a book of faces. Before Facebook, what do we have? The yellow pages, the white pages. That's how you looked people up. Now you can look people up right on social media. The beauty of social media is that it paints a picture, it puts a face to a name. So the problem is that people don't build relationships, they just ask favors. Relationships are built first and then you ask favors. But you have to make sure that you're not using people, that you're just genuinely asking favors and you're willing to reciprocate those favors. So if someone needed some professional development or some professional assistance, you'd be willing to pay it forward to someone else. Don't ask for anything that you wouldn't be willing to give back. The main thing here, guys, is seriously a comment. If you comment on posts and you respond to other people's comments respectfully with the intention of learning, not the intention of proving them wrong, not the intention of making them feel stupid, not with the intention of reading what they have to say and undermining them, but with the intention of learning something and building a genuine relationship, you can connect with those people on LinkedIn. You can share professional discourse and you can share opportunities. Most companies have some form of a referral program where you can send a link to be referred. Some companies even pay their employees for sending referral links. So it's extremely important that you're networking with people who work at companies. It doesn't matter if this person lives in Canada and you live in Florida, that company has a presence in Florida, and these companies are hiring work from home. So, reframe your perspective from a perspective of, I don't want to meet anybody. I don't want to comment. I might be wrong, and challenge yourself to build social relationships based on, social media. So sometimes when I'm afraid of doing something, I just ask myself, what is the worst thing that could happen? Someone ignores, LOL, that's not that bad. It's really not that bad. And we've all gotten rejected before. We've all been ignored before. A lot of times what happens is that people will, thank you, Gia, is that people will, they're so afraid of rejection. You're afraid of rejection by a stranger. So what if they don't respond to you? You didn't know them before. You don't know them now. Okay, they didn't respond. Move on. Don't take it personal. Maybe they didn't see it, or maybe they didn't know what to say, or maybe they're shy like you. But I'll say this. A lot of people don't have success on LinkedIn because they use it as a platform to harass people and to it's like cold calling. Don't call me or don't email me and I don't know you. A great way to navigate LinkedIn is to share professional work, give your professional opinion on professional articles and professional trends that you see, and comment. Find people on LinkedIn that you want to be like, just like Instagram. Everybody's following this one, that one, she's popular. It's something that you're following that page for. I like how she dresses. I like how she does her hair. I like how she does her makeup. I like her boyfriend. Whatever it is, you're following something. You're following them to be influenced. LinkedIn works the same way. You get on there, follow people to be influenced. If there's a company that you want to work at and a title that you want to work at, go find the person who works that company and that title and follow them on LinkedIn. You could comment on people's posts. You can share their posts. You can like their posts. And the thing is, you start to follow people. They may share professional information and professional opportunities that can help you. And by constantly engaging them or supporting their content, it's almost like you're dropping in and saying hello. Don't be combative, don't challenge them, but ask questions, contribute meaningful observations. It's kind of like the discussion boards when you took classes online. Be professional, keep it on topic, and people will start to feel like they know you. So when you have a question or when you need a favor, it's not a cold call situation. It's a situation where you've taken the time to build these relationships. You should, like with my page on LinkedIn, my page is a page full of professionals from completely different fields, completely different walks of life. So you have some people that are just starting their career, some people that are well established in their career, so on and so forth. So, it's a great mix, and I try to post content that different categories of professionals can relate to and engage with. The comment section is a place to meet people. It's a place to get to know people. If you continue to comment and engage with people, eventually you'll build relationships, you'll build connections, and you can share resources. So virtual networking it's easy. It's so easy. You don't have to see these people. They don't know what you're wearing. They don't know your political views. They don't know your religious views. Keep it professional, and you could build a lot of solid relationships. Another thing is that with these relationships in virtual environments, specifically on LinkedIn, people can endorse you. So if someone is able to see based off the content that you share or the comments that you leave that you possess a certain competency, they can go on your profile and vouch for you. If you start building relationships with people, connecting with people, and really engaging with their content on LinkedIn, and they work at a certain company that's on your radar, you want to work at that company, then it's a really good idea to follow them, engage with them, because new connections from that company will come up. You mess around and find yourself connected with the hiring manager. So virtual networking. Stop being shy. Start engaging, start commenting, start sharing posts, start responding to people. The comment section is a conversation. It's the place you can kind of meet people. So I'm finishing up my LinkedIn book. So I'm going to be publishing that really soon, but I really, I cannot stress this enough. You're missing so many opportunities being antisocial on social media. I've seen people get jobs out the comments. Maybe a little less following and staying up to date with pop culture, and a little more with staying up to date and, connecting with others. Another thing on LinkedIn is follow these people. If you see someone who's a HR manager, a project manager, a data analyst, a cyber engineer, and that's what you want to be, find them on LinkedIn, find them on Instagram, find out what books they're reading, find out what professional organizations they belong to, find out how they got there. Their whole employment history is on LinkedIn. All the people they know are on LinkedIn. Can you please speak on people separating their personal pages from their shady pages? Because that keeps them from the goal when they look into candidates. That's true. If your social media is not professional, lock it up and don't have your real name on there. If you got a Instagram page, and it's just wild and crazy, it's for you and your friends, that's fine. What you do after 5 o'clock, that's your business. But when it has your first name and last name blasted on it, when you're linking people from LinkedIn to your Instagram and it's not professional, then you're kind of showing people information that they otherwise wouldn't have access to. Your LinkedIn profile should be completely professional. It shouldn't have anything about your personal information. I see people on there who share stories and stuff all the time that expose their religious affiliation, that exposes their political views, all that stuff. And I'm personally against it. I'm not on LinkedIn to talk about my family. I'm not on LinkedIn to talk about how I feel about politics, how I feel about the president, how I feel about this or that. I'm on LinkedIn specifically talking about things that impact my field. If there is a law that is going to be in favor of or that's going to negatively impact my field, I'm going to speak on that. If there is someone who's campaigning for an office that's going to negatively or positively affect the type of business that I do, I may speak on that. But I'm not, unless it's like with religion, if it's not something that's like specific to the workplace or specific to my field, I'm not commenting on stuff like that, and I'm not sharing stuff like that. I share my professional opinions about things that impact my field of business. And so that's another thing. It's like LinkedIn is a great learning tool. A lot of the information that I learn about trends in the employment market, trends in hiring, changes, I get right from LinkedIn. It comes up right in my feed. So LinkedIn is a place for you to display yourself professionally. That's just the best way I could say it. You know what I'm saying? Keep it professional, but use that. You should be on LinkedIn more than you're on Instagram. I'm just be honest with you. Now, Instagram is a great tool too, because it does show you people's personal side, and everybody has something that they're doing on the side. So you may, you got your professional job, and maybe you sell professional development books or ebooks or something else on the side. Go ahead and support them. If it's someone who is in a position to make a decision for you and you stumble across their Instagram, comment on their Instagram too. Like their pictures on Instagram, like their posts on Instagram. If they're selling something, buy it. Support people, because then when you need a favor, it comes right back around, and you're not a stranger. And that's really what it's about. So I'm going to answer your questions about networking in virtual environments. I do have a deadline, so I'm going to give this about 10 to 20 more minutes. So go ahead and ask me questions. I will address them. For 2021, I really want to show you how to leverage your professional platform. I really want to take you from, passively using Instagram to, or any social media, to actively using it. Another great place to network and meet people and engage is Twitter. Okay, so the questions that I'm addressing are going to be more so like are going to be more so relevant to like social media, networking on social media and LinkedIn. Um, I see your question, JCS. And I'll just say this, I don't think that you should worry about that. A lot of people haven't had a job since March because COVID. So even if that wasn't your reason, pretend like it is. You'll fit in with everybody else. So any more networking, LinkedIn related questions? How do you manage your time from posting? I really think it's important to set, and it doesn't have to be a specific time every day. It doesn't have to be every day, but I do think that you should have a certain amount of time weekly that you invest in professional development. We're adults, so we should be reading books. We should be setting goals to connect and network with certain amount of people in our field. The degree, once you get your degree or once you start getting some experience, that's like the pre-qualifier. You're always going to have to invest in professional development, and people who invest in professional development tend to have better careers because investments pay off. So if you start off with literally like just say, 2 days a week, I'm going to post on LinkedIn and I'm going to comment and respond to people on LinkedIn. 2 days a week, maybe give yourself 30 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be excessive, but show your face. Come in there and say, 2 days a week, I've got these 10 people on my watch list. They're in their career. They work at companies I want to work at. They're in, fields that I want to be in. So 2 days a week, I'm going to hop on and see what they're talking about. I'm going to share like their posts and comment, see what I can learn, see who I can meet. Is LinkedIn a necessity? Am I doing myself a disservice without one? There was a time when, let me say this. People get jobs every day without LinkedIn. You don't need LinkedIn. But it's definitely a tool that can help you. If you can't get a job off LinkedIn, you're guaranteed to learn something on LinkedIn. So it's like the same concept as traditional social media. You see someone who's doing something that you want to do and you follow them to learn how they got there, learn how they did it, and you support them until they notice you. And hopefully they notice you, you can build a rapport with them, and then they may be able to help put you in position because they met you on LinkedIn and now they know you. You have nothing to lose on LinkedIn. I look at it like that. Direct message, how would you approach introducing yourself to an HR representative if you have an interest in a position at their organization? Is there a way for you to get their attention? I have scripts, and they will be in my LinkedIn ebook of just things that you can say to people when you're reaching out to them. But just remember that when you reach out to someone on LinkedIn unsolicited, you're cold calling. And people don't respond well when strangers reach out to them. You're reaching out to me about a job. It's a nice touch. You can do it. You might get their attention. You might not. There's lots of people in there sending them messages. So my thing is, if you are targeting companies, because a targeted approach is the best approach. So if you're targeting companies for employment and you've identified the company and you've identified the decision makers and you've been following them, you should be commenting, you should be sharing their posts, you should be engaging with them on the platform. So that way, when an opportunity comes about and you send them a message, they're more likely to answer it because they've seen your face before. It's not like a stranger. Like when I get messages on LinkedIn, I'm not really pressed to answer them unless it's a face that kind of looks familiar to me. Like I've seen this person before. What's up? Let's see. I have a special needs child and haven't worked in 10 years. I'll say this. My opinion on that, Gia, is that if you have a special needs child, you've been working for 10 years. Yes, you have. You've been working for that child, and you've got to advertise yourself that way. I do have a stay-at-home mom handbook on my website, www.moreforlessresumes.com. If you want to download that, some great samples in there. But you need to sell yourself not as I haven't been working for 10 years. You need to sell yourself as I've been working for 10 years doing this, because that's what you've been doing. I'm so antisocial, I'm struggling. You got to get out of that. Leaders have courage. Leaders are not meek. Leaders are not antisocial. Leaders are not afraid to make mistakes. Leaders embrace mistakes because they know that mistakes come with valuable lessons that they wouldn't have been able to learn if they didn't make the mistake. And a mistake can be saying the wrong thing. A mistake can be making the wrong face. A mistake could be simply being wrong. Leaders are not afraid of rejection. Rejection is part of life. So I put everything I've ever done professional on LinkedIn, and I felt ultimately it didn't represent me well. Can you have more than one page dedicated to different roles? This is the thing. A lot of the reasons why you probably feel like you're not being represented well on LinkedIn is because, and I say this all the time, these are the things that I preach because I truly believe them. A targeted approach. I don't want to see everything you ever done. I don't care about everything you've ever done. I care about what you've done that's relevant to what you're trying to do. And you got to stop being afraid of committing to something. Commit to something. Pick something that you want to do. Find out what it takes to get there, from the relationship side to the companies that offer that opportunity, to the titles that you're qualified to do, to the work that you have to do, the experience that you have to get to qualify for what you want to do. It's hard for you to represent yourself because you're trying to summarize everything that you've done. We live in a time where in order to stand out, you have to find out what your niche is. What is your niche? What are you really good at? What do you knock out the water? Or what are you so interested in that you wouldn't mind doing it? Now, every prize comes with work. You may have to do an ugly job. You may have to kiss a little bit of butt to get there. But when you get there, you get to do something that you want to do. And guess what? If you don't like it, then you can do something else. Give that a year, give that 2 years, and then go do something else. You don't have to worry about, if I don't like it, I'm stuck. No, you're not stuck. You're not stuck. I know people who've had 5 or 6 or 7 different careers. I know people who've got 50 different resumes. I'm one of those people. I have hundreds of resumes because I can do a lot of different things. I'm not going to try to put everything that I could do on one resume because nobody's hiring a job that needs me to do all that. They're hiring a job that needs me to know how to work in my area. So I think that it's important for you to really figure out what you want to do. Gia, I'm telling you, the stay-at-home mom thing, I got that one in the bag. It's easier than you think, but you just have to get that confidence to give yourself credit for what you do. I'm telling you, because you've got more that you can put on there than you think, and you'd be surprised. So, it's kind of like picking a subject. Pick a topic and stay on topic. What do you want to do? You want to be a financial analyst? Follow a bunch of financial analysts on LinkedIn. Follow them on Instagram. Find out where they work. Follow the companies that work at. Sign up for their job board. Even people have copies of their resumes on Instagram. On LinkedIn. If you're confused about what experience you need to get to be a financial analyst, go find a financial analyst on LinkedIn and see what he did to get there. You can see who their friends are. You can see where they've worked. You can see the projects that they've worked on. You can see everything about them. Pick something and go for it. Fear is holding way more people back. The fear, if you're afraid, you can't even get started. You can't even think about what step 1 is because you're afraid. You're afraid of rejection. What if I don't get the job? I had someone say, I applied to 100 jobs. And she said, I only got 10 interviews and I only got 2 offers. Well, you can only work 1 job at a time, ma'am. So 2 offers, you got a job. You got 2 jobs. Pick one. A structured approach. Yep, networking groups. I have a networking group. on Facebook, and I'm about to get more active with that, because as I talk to my clients tell me what they need, and so I create my content. My content, the reason, like some people follow structured content where they create content and it's like almost like a lesson plan. I don't create my content like that. I'm a spontaneous person, and I create my content based off of what my clients are telling me or what they're not telling me. And if I have a thought in the moment, I'm not going to wait until the perfect time to post that thought. I'm going to post it while it's fresh, because I want to make sure that I don't forget anything, and I'm getting it out timely. So sometimes my thoughts are so abstract that they can't wait. So I'm seeing that a big thing is my clients don't know what they want to do, and they don't have any relationships because they're not invested in anything. You're welcome. I do mock interviews, but well, I do them. I'll leave it at that. I do mock interviews, yes. Pity Pat, I've never tried to delete a LinkedIn profile. So thanks for asking that question, because like I said before, I'm working on my LinkedIn ebook that's going to be out really soon. So I'm going to find that out. I'm writing that down right now. You see, got my sticky pad, and I'll find out. Because yeah, sometimes you need to just delete and start over. But okay, couple more questions. So what do you do with a client who does not know what they want to do? I have a career coaching consultation with them. I evaluate their experience, their education. I find out what their goals are, even if it's all over the place. And then I find out what their salary goals are, and I find out what they feel their fears and their barriers are. And then from there, I give them my professional opinion on a traditional path to reaching a goal or a non-traditional path to reaching a goal. I tell them what their options are, what options are realistic, and then I send them with homework. I have them research different positions, and then we collectively come up with something. So a lot of times when people don't know what they want to do, is because they don't know what they can do. And so if I address that, then you start coming up with ideas. And then some of those ideas just aren't realistic. When you set goals, I want to be here in a year. Okay, well, you're not going to be a doctor in a year, and you haven't even started medical school, but here's what you can do. So kind of like that approach. What if I use my LinkedIn to post to highlight some of the accomplishments that I've done? Maybe a short story video about how I contributed to a company merger. Me personally, I use my LinkedIn to share my professional opinion on topics that impact my industry. So if somebody writes an article about a key aspect of my field or my profession, or something that impacts my field or profession, maybe they're highlighting a problem, I will author something about how I would solve it. If I see something and I think it's interesting and it's impacting my field, I share it and give my opinion on it. That's what I use LinkedIn for. I think that people think a little bit too much into the LinkedIn thing, and maybe just, from a perspective of like, I should just sell myself. Even a recruiter doesn't want to be sold. You don't want to be sold. You don't want to follow a page that's just constantly selling you something. You probably prefer following pages that enlighten you, that you learn something from. Have you taken those certification tests on LinkedIn? Do you think the assessments enhance your profile? I think they can enhance your profile if you do the research to find out what companies actually use them and value them. I personally don't take those assessments because I'm not looking for a job. I haven't really talked to any recruiters that told me they hired someone because of LinkedIn assessment scores. But LinkedIn is offering something like that, and so is Indeed. And, I do know that LinkedIn and Indeed both have clients. So LinkedIn and Indeed provide services and solutions to certain clients that they partner with. So those clients are employers, and some of those employers may have agreements with LinkedIn where they will use those assessments as screening tools. So you never know what company is using those. So what I will say to that is it doesn't hurt to take them. And I will, well, if you perform poorly, it can. But ultimately you can learn something from those assessments because they've put them together based off of research from companies that hire. So it's an opportunity for you to see where you rank and what you can do to improve and how employers think. You should post on LinkedIn several times a week. You should update your profile. I'm sorry, the question was, how often should you update your LinkedIn account? You should post on LinkedIn several times a week. You should update your profile whenever something in your career changes. If you get a new certification, you get a new job, if you're deciding to take your career in a different direction, those are all great reasons to update your LinkedIn. Is that part of your cruise control package? No, the career coaching, it's a virtual consultation that comes with the cruise control package. The Your New Career premium package includes a career coaching session, or you can purchase a career coaching session by itself on our website. How can I reduce my resume to a page? I have over 7 years of work experience. Me personally, I'm not a one-page resume writer. That's not my thing. If 1 to 2 pages is acceptable, and if I need to use 2 pages to make sure that my resume gets through the applicant tracking system and that it encompasses all of my accomplishments and everything that I've done, then I'm going to use a 2-page resume. 1-page resumes are cute, but it's not helpful if you don't have all the information on there. I think that you should accept your managers and coworkers on LinkedIn as long as you're facilitating a platform that is respectful and professional, that isn't sharing any personal information. Personal information is for stuff like Facebook and Instagram, and I wouldn't accept my managers or coworkers on Facebook or Instagram, but that's why LinkedIn was created. The reason why you want to connect with them is because you want to keep in touch with them in case you need to reach out to them for a reference, for a letter of recommendation, and most importantly, you want to have, so managers, if a manager gets a job at one company, they may have relationships at another company that will offer them better pay and a better title. So they may go from one company to the next. That's really common in management. And you want to keep in touch with them because if they post that they started a new position somewhere or that they're heading up a department somewhere, you want to be on their mind. So I'll give you an example. One of my managers, when I was working at State Farm, went over to Allstate, and he brought me with him. So he said, hey, I had a position, I was thinking of you. And that's why you stay in touch. And staying in touch is liking, commenting, engaging in their content. Keep them on your mind. Those are your connections. You met those people, you build relationships with them. And that's why it's so important to go to work and have a good attitude and consider yourself a servant to the company and a servant to your manager, because you might cross paths with them on LinkedIn. You might cross paths with them again in your career, and you want them to think of you like, oh, I remember when he or she worked for me and God, they were the bomb. I would hire you again. Because when opportunities come up, if they see you, they'll think of you and they'll reach out to you. Alicia, what package should I purchase if I want a public and private sector resume? We have a government compliant package now, and it includes both versions, a public and a private sector resume. And if you want, you can DM me and I can send you the link to that on Instagram. What advice can you give on ATS to get your resume seen? ATS is really about networking and having keywords. My advice is, if you want your resume to be compliant with ATS, use an ATS friendly resume template, and read the job posting and respond with a resume. So think of a resume as a research paper and you're responding to the job posting. If you're creating a resume that responds to a job posting, then it should make it through the ATS system if the template is compatible. PDFs usually aren't compatible. Those cool templates that you see, like the really pretty ones that, people always say, oh, your resume templates are so basic, but the resume is so good. My resume template makes it through the ATS. all the pretty stuff and the jazzy stuff that you see on Canva and Adobe, you're not getting calls back on those resumes because nobody's seeing them. They're pretty, but they don't make it through the ATS. So now, unless you're in a field where you're trying to be like a creative director or digital marketing or something like that, where it's expected for you to know how to design things like that, well, that's a different story. But for the most part, a resume should be 1 to 2 pages. 1 to 2 pages. Even if you're using it for a creative field, it should still be simple enough to make it through the ATS. But one thing, what you can do is, if you work in a creative field, you can send the recruiter a copy of your creative resume after you've gotten the interview. You got to understand that what about changing your job title on LinkedIn? Maybe you were assistant, but you held all the responsibilities of the person who was the main worker. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I'm an executive level professional. I'm the CEO of More for Less Resumes. That may not be impressive to you because the company is on Instagram and it's like a small business, but I'm over here CEOing several hours a day. I have an assistant and she does a lot of my work. She has to, because the main point of my position as a CEO is to think and solve problems and make sure that this company is going in the right direction, to listen to the feedback from the customers and provide my employees with the solutions to solve those problems. So what I want to say to you is that I know as a recruiter and I know as an executive that the assistant does the executive's job. So the title doesn't matter. As soon as you say you're an administrative assistant, an executive assistant, there's receptionist, there's assistant, there's administrative assistant, there's executive assistant, there's personal assistant. As soon as you drop that title, I know that you do the person's job that you're assisting. I know that. So you don't really have to worry about the title. Just make sure that you're listing what you do. Jade, I meant for ATS systems, is it better to have a shorter resume? I'm sticking to, Jade, my thing, the 1 to 2 pages, 1 to 2. Thank you, JCS. Oh, thank you, Alicia. Thank you. Send me, I don't want to mess your name up. It looks like it's Katerina. But send me a message on Instagram and I will send you the link. But I love being able to show my face on here and answer you guys' questions, especially during these trying times. But I do have a couple of resumes that I got to get out before I log out for the day. So I'm going to end this session. I'm trying to get on here when I have my random thoughts, and I'm trying to go live and, on a regular basis so that I can address a lot of your questions. But thanks for joining. And I will see you guys probably get on here again later this week. So you're welcome, everyone. Bye-bye.